Hello again, I'm Dr. Ryan Kirkland, board-certified dermatologist, and today I'm joining you from the beautiful island of Anguilla. So if you're not familiar with or have never heard of Anguilla, it is a very remote island that is home to 33 white, very beautiful sandy beaches. It's only 16 miles long and 3 miles wide. It doesn't have any high-rise buildings. It doesn't have any ports that allow cruise ships in, so it's very secluded and quiet, and it's home to some of the best seafood. So today I'm going to talk about how we have fun but also protect ourselves, our skin, from the harmful effects of UV light. We'll also talk a little bit about skin types and maybe what risk factors you might have to sun damage, and also share some of my tips on sunscreens and what's best out there and what you should use. So let's go explore the island and have some fun. So today we're talking about UV light and how to enjoy a great time at the beach, but also protect our skin from the damages of UV light today. And so in order to start that conversation, I think we first have to understand a few things. First, what our risk factors are. Second, what is UV light? And then third, what are the ways we can help protect ourselves? So you might have heard the term skin type thrown around before. What skin type are you? Well, as dermatologists, we refer to that as Fitzpatrick skin type, of which there are 6. One is the lightest skin type, somebody like myself, somebody who has red hair or blonde hair with blue eyes and very pale or white skin. We always sunburn and never tan. And as we go up the chart, the next would be skin type 2. Skin type 2 has a little bit more pigment in their skin, maybe a little bit darker hair, brown eyes, but usually that person sunburns. They can get a little bit of pigmentation, but more of the time sunburns and rarely tans. And then as we move up the scale, we go to skin type 3-4, which tend to be more of the olive complexion or skin tone. And those individuals tend to tan more often rather than burn. Somebody like my kids who are very olive skin tone, we don't have to worry about them burning as much as I do in this bright sunshine. And then as we move up, we get to skin type 5-6, somebody like my wife, who is a darker skin type, rarely sunburns, more often tans when they go outside. And so that's the difference between skin types 1 through 6. So let's talk about sunscreens. First off, let's understand what types of sunscreens there are. There's 2 different major classifications of sunscreens. We have the physical mineral-based sunscreens and we have chemical sunscreens. And so what's the difference? Well, the physical mineral sunscreens offer a wide spectrum of protection. You have 2 different kinds. We have zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, and these are essentially minerals which coat our skin and reflect the UV light from penetrating and damaging our skin. The other type of sunscreens that are out there are chemical sunscreens. Chemical sunscreens we have to apply to the skin, and then they penetrate and take 15 to 20 minutes to exert their effects. And essentially what chemical sunscreens do are they are absorbing the UV light and making it less harmful to our skin rather than reflecting it. There's many different types of chemicals that are used. A few that you might have heard of in the past are oxybenzone or avobenzone, and essentially they all have a different spectrum of UV light that they help protect us from. There is some debate out there these days you might have heard of chemical sunscreens being harmful to our health. And so let me highlight one of the recent studies that you might have heard of. There was a study that showed that after we apply chemical sunscreens to our skin, they can detect it in our bloodstream, so it is absorbed. And while this is true, there is much more research that needs to be done, as we don't really know the harmful effects of absorption of chemical sunscreens. There may not be any harm to our health, but there aren't studies which say one way or another. So if you're a little bit skeptical, then I would recommend that you stick to one of the physical or mineral-based sunscreens. How much should I apply? Well, a general rule of thumb is we should put about a shot glass worth of sunscreen to cover our entire body. We should aim to put maybe a nickel size, which is something like this, to apply to our face. And remember to rub it in, and also apply to areas that get a lot of sun that we often forget, such as our ears, top of our feet if we're going to be walking around on the beach, or if you're starting to thin, remember to apply to the scalp as well. It's always important that after you apply sunscreen, you should reapply it 2 hours later, because both types of sunscreens can be degraded on our skin. So after about 90 minutes to 2 hours, these sunscreens are no longer effective. So it's very important that we're reapplying if we're going to be outside on hot sunny days or at the pool. Also selecting waterproof sunscreens if we're going to be sweating a lot or in the ocean or at the pool. Hopefully I've shared some good expert tips with you today to help you along and keep your skin healthy and is looking as good as possible. Thanks for joining us on our trip to Anguilla. I'm going to go enjoy some R&R now with the family and have a great time on the rest of my trip. I'll see you on the next adventure. Take care.